Keep your radio dial right here. You're locked into the hottest news station on the planet. Hot 702.5 in FM sound. Blazing today's hip-hop, R&B, and pop music. Keeping your radio on fire. Bringing you the hottest, realest, riskiest talk shows live 24/7. Live on hot7025fm.com.
What's up, y'all? It's your boy Big Shook, host of the Undrafted Outlaws Sports Show. Man, listen, if you want some real down south, Louisiana-style Cajun food, you need to go check out DB's Cajun Kitchen. Yo, they got lobster and grits, seafood boils, signature fries, signature po' boys, signature egg rolls, and desserts. Oh, and my favorite, them gumbo tacos. Yo, they open from 11 to 8, Wednesday to Monday, 7 to 5:30 on Sunday. Located in North Las Vegas at 4343 North Rancho Drive. They even have to-go orders and catering. Hit them up, 725-780-1850, or go to the website, dbcajunkitchen.com. So, yo, don't just tell your friends about me. Tell them about DB's Cajun Kitchen.
Hi. Hey.
What's up? All your favorite artists.
Check it out. Say my name. DJ Khaled. This is Mila J. Bruno Mars.
On hot7025fm.com.
Tune in now on hot7025fm.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back. If you tuned in last week, we had finished on a pretty nitty-gritty conversation. We are back today. Same individual, Dylan Powell, but you know we start with a Bible verse, so we're going to talk about the other one that's on my head, Romans 8:31, that says, if God is for us, who could be against us? Now, let's get right back into this. Dylan, without further ado, the mustache himself, how's it going? That was cute. That was you tried to be sexy.
We got pretty close. It was close. Mustachio reporting, El Caballero Solutions. We are in the building.
He said, how's it going?
You know what it is.
You know what it is. Okay, so let's talk. Let's get right into this. First off, fuck these Facebook groups. We're just gonna say that off jump. That
right back to it.
Right, that ask about the tea. We're just gonna be clear on that. We're gonna start there. Secondly, can I just based on what you did on that comment of yours, how hilarious is it when guys at the club that are dancing for women try to be dominant, but you can tell that's not their stature, so they like choke like a question mark. They're like, it's like, don't do that. That looks stalkerish.
She doesn't like that.
Yeah, she doesn't like that. Or they take the belt off and they're like, whoopsh, but it's not. It doesn't make a sound. It's just like. Whoop.
I like the guys who can really, they could take the belt and then you can tell that they've had a DV charge. You're like, oh, that guy's got issues.
Yeah, he took the belt off, mad aggressive. He's just like, yeah. See, you can always tell. So I've actually had these conversations about like being a dom, like dom, sub, masochist. What's the big difference? And a lot of people, they don't know. They really don't know. And when we break it down,
well, they think they do, and then they
they watch 50 Shades of Grey. Yeah, they watch 50 Shades of Grey, and they're like, oh yeah, I could do that. It's like, that's, for one, he's a sadist and she's a masochist. Like, that's not dom sub. Sadist, masochist, very, very different. Like, well, what's the difference? Like, he's dominant, right? No. The control aspect might be dominance, but he gets off on pain, right? And then she learns to love the pain.
Inflicting pain.
Right.
Let's
inflicting pain. Gets off on inflicting pain, and she learns to love to receive the pain. Mm-hmm. So that's a Ladies and gentlemen, we have a sadist here, live and in the building.
I'm a mixture of all things.
Yeah. He's the only person that can dominate and sub himself at the same time. Just yeah. I watched it at the club. Pause.
Pause. Whoa.
No, honestly, crazy shit at the club. But yeah, when people want to break down like dom sub, like I've had subs, right? Like years and years ago, before I had my child, for that, I've had subs and I've been a dom. I've had a contract, right? I've done that.
I've seen the contract.
I have, yeah. I've done a dom sub contract, and to me, I took it very seriously, but the way I looked at it was not relationship wise. Like, there's no feelings involved. There was no strings. It was very like, you're my sub. You're available to me on these times. I'm your dom.
That transactional.
Yes. What's the word we created last show?
Obscene.
Obscene.
Obscure.
Obscete. That's an obscete relationship. Thing is this, though, right? Like, I've been asked, can you dom in a relationship? And for me personally, I have not been able to. I can be dominant. We can have sexual experiences that might be dom sub, like BDSM or ropes or tying things up, but whatever. But as far as like being dom sub in a relationship, I have a hard time because I've always disassociated myself with my sub. It's always very, I pleasure you, you're obedient to me, and that's what it is, right? So it's very hard to have feelings when you disassociate that idea and that concept. I know it's possible, and there's been times where like I'll start to catch feelings or whatever, but it's never long enough for it to turn into something. How do you feel? Do you feel like you can have like a dom sub relationship inside a relationship? Like we watch it with Jess and James. Like, they're fucking phenomenal. They're married and they have that relationship, but like I feel like they're an anomaly. I don't think like everyone's like that.
Well, I feel like we are a step behind in the sense that, like you said, like you've had in the past a contractual thing with different people in that same regard. So when you associate who you're with that contractual, situation, it puts that image back in your mind. You know what I mean? Right. So then you're thinking of this person as like, oh, this is basically, like a client. This isn't. This is not my partner. This is now a client. You're the sub to my dom. Like, you're nobody to me, unfortunately. But we can still go with this.
Right.
Whereas, like Jess and James, like they started in the sense of like, okay, he's in a relationship with this girl, but he's the dominant, she's the submissive. You know what I mean? It's totally different. It's relationship versus a contract.
Do you feel like you could be in a polyamorous or polygamous relationship?
I don't share.
What about polygamy? Right, to where it's like you and multiple women.
No.
Could your girlfriend have a girlfriend? We found a nerve, ladies and gentlemen.
That one, that's hard because realistically, my thing is that if you're in a relationship with somebody, I feel like they deserve 100% of you, and I feel like if you have more than one person in your life, you cannot devote 100% to that specific person.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, but I've also seen
it work.
Right.
You know what I mean? But those are people that either have serious ADHD, they've got, that. I mean, you have to have that mindset for that specific relationship style.
Right.
Myself, I do not have that. I grew up, just like you, small town. Like we grew up in a very conservative way. So when it comes to something like that, that's a very liberal sense, and I'm not accustomed to that. Damn, dog. You good? Trying to fight the microphone over here.
So you think that relationships for you can only be monogamous?
For me personally, yeah. It's just a learned behavior that I have. You know what I mean?
I would say the same. I mean, I tried to learn polygamy, right? I tried to learn polyamory, but the problem is I'm territorial.
Right.
One, I can't watch my girl fuck another dude. Like,
not a chance.
And that was that was something. Oh boy, we're not going to mention his name on here, but oh boy was like, hey, if you want to become a man, the way you do it is you set up your girl to get fucked by another man in front of you, and then you just watch it. It's like, that's how I catch a charge. Like, what? And then he goes, then you can't make her feel bad for it because it's not her fault you set it up. And I would agree, like, if you set it up, you can't make her feel bad for it, but like, you can't unsee that.
Yeah, you're just a cuck.
Yeah, exactly what the fuck you are.
Sorry, brother.
Yeah, exactly what the fuck you are.
Like, come on now. I don't know. I could never. And will never, ever. Oh my God. If I ever actually was a witness to something like that, man, like, I don't want to say both of them would not leave that area, but
both of them wouldn't leave that area. He goes, I'm not saying that I would catch a charge. I'm just saying that I would catch a charge.
Like, I'd be calling Mr. Savage to come and dig some holes.
See, and that's so. let's just point that out. There's noon friends, and there's 3 a.m. friends.
Yo.
And if you have 3 a.m. friends, you keep them around. I have a few friends. Well, I don't have many 3 a.m. friends. And the problem is this, right? When you call, here's the difference, right? Because we've heard these TikToks about it. Let's break it down. A 3 a.m. friend doesn't ask fucking questions. 3 a.m. friend, when you call them, it can either be like, they know when you're calling at 3, there's something going on. There's something, right? And it's either going to be one of those situations like, hey, bro, I'm not in a good way. I need a distraction, right? That's one of those. Or it's like, hey, bro, I need your help. We can't talk about it later. Can't ask questions. I need you to be here in 20 minutes. Bet. Send their location. There's not many people like that. But the people that you have like that, keep them close, keep them loyal. Be loyal to them. I think the problem is this, Dylan. You and I are 3 a.m. friends all the time. And the issue is, not everyone deserves us to be 3 a.m. friends, right? Not everyone's earned that level of loyalty. The same thing goes in a relationship, right? I'm a 3 a.m. friend to my partner. I'm all in. Fuck it. We're in this. You bring the body, I'll find the hole, right? Hypothetically.
Pause.
Hypothetically. We're not admitting the charges here. But
he said, bring the body, I'll find the hole. Pause, bro.
Is it though? No.
Damn.
I'm skeet. We're up skeet.
Pause. Pause. Oh my God. Said, bring the body, I'll find the hole. Up skeet. No.
Skeet.
God damn. I hope it's alive. You necrophiliac.
You take things so south. And then I feel like I've got to defend myself.
Oh my word.
Oh shit.
Babe, bring the body. We're having a 3-way.
I'm never gonna live this one down. Never. I'm gonna get a Christmas card that has this on it.
Necro.
Oh fuck. Here's my thing.
Oh my goodness.
Here's my thing. We talked about it in the last show. In relationships. We're just gonna pivot. Fuck you. In relationships, I have
pivoted.
I have an all-in mentality, right? And that's the issue. That's the problem that you pointed out. Is that like once I see somebody and I see things in them that I like a lot, and I see a future potential wife in them. I see people's potential before I see them, right? And that's the issue. I'll see their potential, like, oh, we could make this into something. Like, we could build this. It's something I can build. Which is why I'm a good business manager, which is why I'll be a good attorney, is I can see something. I can take one picture and see. It's like taking a puzzle piece and seeing the picture, right? And I'm good at that with people. The problem is I start to overlook things when I see the big picture, because to me, the big picture is more important than the small issues. I think Jordan Peterson, said it best, is when you allow these little monstrosities, these little passes against you, to be tolerant, right? So, for example, you get hung up on. You don't like that. I'm not a big fan of being hung up on. Like we can communicate. We can talk about this. I don't like being belittled, right? If we're going to talk, we can talk calmly. We're adults. We can communicate calmly. I've been in relationships where it's a yelling match. I will not be in another one. Like, it's just not going to be like that. We're going to communicate effectively, or we're not going to communicate. I also don't like too much space. So, like, if you need time to gather your thoughts, sure. But we're not going to drop this and then pick it back up tomorrow and think that it's going to be fine. Like, that's not what we're going to do. It's not going to work that way. I'm a big believer, and this is something I've heard from a lot of elderly people that I appreciate their advice. Never go to bed mad. It's very important. So if we have an issue, we need to talk about it till we go to sleep. Right? Like, that's just a thing. Well, if you join the radio show, Miss Carice, we can discuss it. But my thing is this too, right? I overlook these small monstrosities, right? Like the hanging up on, the lack of communication, the random vices that they fall into. Like, oh, you know, I don't necessarily like do ecstasy all the time. It's just when I go to Vegas. It's like that could be an issue if you go to Vegas 40 times a year, right? So like, this is what I mean. Like, there's different times and different. So
I only drink when I go out. Goes out every single weekend.
Yeah, it's like, so you're an alcoholic. No, it's social. It's like, but socially you're outside. So like, if you're outside, then the sun likes you, you know. But the way I look at it is this: when you start to overlook these small monstrosities, Jordan Peterson says, when you look over these small monstrosities, eventually you have a Frankenstein. Eventually, these small monstrosities will add up to be one big monster that you can't overlook anymore. And I think when I'm looking at the big picture, I look at a puzzle piece as a person, and I go, oh, I can see this big picture that we can create this great empire. I start to overlook these small monstrosities. And then what I don't see is that this small monstrosity now will eventually turn into a big picture problem. And I don't see that because I don't see the problems as big picture. I see the solutions. I'm a solution type of person. Like, how can I fix something? And that's been an issue I've had in relationships and friendships. I'm always trying to fix people and fix things.
E40 put a name on that. It's called Captain Save a Ho.
Fucking hate this guy.
I got the same problem.
Are we tuning in here? I'm seeing some lighting. I'm seeing a camera. I'm seeing a different stature. Are we about to get another guest?
Looking flawless, I must say.
With the
You guys are so sweet.
Ooh.
Look at you.
Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only, live with us, E. Carice. This is her radio show, by the way.
This is your radio show.
Okay, this is my segment of her radio show.
Okay.
Hot 702.5 FM, all about E. Carice. She's amazing. She picks great people, so I just want to give her a shout out.
I'm going to get my camera here working in a second.
Don't worry, you're going to see her, seeing us see her, but she heard enough out of my mouth to go, yeah, fuck this. We're in here.
I think that you guys are talking about OU, Savage. Yeah. A lot of unrealistic things.
Talk to me.
Hold on. Let me get myself set up in here.
This woman said, "Are you my dad's belt because you're hitting different?" That is
fucking phenomenal.
That is fantastic.
Are you by far the best pickup line
that was great.
in the game?
That was great.
That's how you get the ladies at the club? Or
she said it to me.
Oh, she said it to you. She's
man,
so you were talking about not going to bed angry.
Yes.
And it's one thing being angry or being upset, and the reality is that you will go to bed where you're not completely 100% with your partner, or you're mad at them for some reason. That doesn't mean. No, it could be when it's your husband and your wife is very different. There's gonna be a time where, you know what, this mofo pissed me off, but we're gonna talk about it tomorrow because we need to rest, because we're not gonna leave each other tomorrow.
That's true.
And I think there's a lot of like older people have a unrealistic idea of what reality is and how we like to function in real time. Like, you know. Fair. We like to tell me what it is so I can talk about it, and we can figure the shit out quickly.
That's fair. I'll say here's a difference that you stated in there that I would agree with 100% is, and I guess it's not the same now. I mean, it's kind of obscure anyways, but the security of knowing that tomorrow after our argument we're still going to be married, right, is a big difference for me because I have abandonment issues. So for me, because of my
clearly,
father,
which is why Dylan was talking about how you latch on to.
First of fucking all, clearly it's not.
Yeah. Listen, I'm just joining in on the conversation of things that I've heard. That's all.
Fine ass E. Carice shows up here and starts pointing out my.
No, it's not you. It's just people have their different vices. Like they're people, attached to certain people very quickly, and then you're in love.
So
and then you go to Starbucks, and then you want to get drinks.
Going off of what? Oh, I'm so sorry. My bad. No, you keep going.
I feel like it's a very.
What I'm saying is. What I'm saying is that it's okay to take your time, and I think I've told you before we even had this conversation. You gotta take your time, like take it slow, date yourself for a minute, and, you know, figure out who you are, what you like, and then go from there.
Did you say date yourself?
Yes, definitely date yourself. I dated myself for like 3 years.
I'm not getting any younger.
And what that means is like take your cell phone dates.
I used to do that all the time. I used to. So this is something I broke down recently. Actually, someone's like, "Well, don't you think you should be single for a while?" I was like, "Okay, well, what's the alternative, right?" Because before my last toxic relationship, I wasn't single long. In the past, before other toxic relationships, I was single for 3 years. So I don't think.
Yeah, but were you being a whore? I think that's the difference. Is that like
I have never celibate.
Listen,
that's an obscene thing to say.
Say a prayer, because we forgive you for
We just
right. What did you do? Kiss it up to the. Listen,
that's an obscene thing to say.
All I'm saying is that cap. Okay, that's all I'm saying. All I'm saying is that if you spent the time that you say you spend alone being a whore, it's not really being alone. You're still fulfilling a desire that is not yourself.
Abskeeting all over.
All over the place. So, you know.
So, okay. All right. I hear you. I understand what you're saying. Here's the problem. I happen to be a lover boy.
You can be a lover boy, but you need to be a lover boy for yourself.
With the lower half, son.
Love yourself.
Fuck
that
you.
much. The desire that you have to love needs to come from you, and then when you figure that out, you're gonna find your wife.
Not little
quickly.
Dev.
So when I figure out, okay, say that again. When I figure out,
so when you figure out that lover, like how you're gonna be a lover boy to yourself. Pause. You know, I'm just for y'all. Okay, how you're gonna be?
Not Pamela.
How you're gonna be a lover boy for yourself? When you figure that out, it's a whole different. Like you'll love yourself enough to understand what you deserve from another person, and it's gonna come to you organically.
That's fair. That's fair.
When you least expect it.
Yeah. See,
when you're trying to be a whore.
Never been a whore. Wouldn't know. I can feel Dylan looking at me.
I wasn't looking at you.
It's a little silence.
So,
yeah.
Fuck you. Going off of what you said earlier, E, about, you know, it's okay to go to sleep like upset or angry because you're married and you can't just leave the next day. I feel like that's very valid. However, if you're with somebody in a more temporary sense, is it like if you're just dating?
No, I think that in all things, like you should be able to communicate effectively enough to know that this person's not going to leave me because they're upset with me today.
You would think,
like, right, and that's why I would say you have to be an effective communicator. I would have to say I'm a very effective communicator, you know, and I think that my husband has learned to be a more effective communicator as we have, you know, like grown in our relationship. So if I'm upset with him, I might need a minute to pause and then like I still am in love with him tomorrow, you know, like it's like, yes, you got on my nerves, and yes, I'm going to say, hey, you know what, when you did this, it made me feel this way, and you know, it hurt my feelings or whatever. I'm going to tell him that. I'm not a yeller, so we're not going to be having a yelling matches back and forth. So I think that's the reason why when people talk about being angry, I think that they're talking about that capacity of angry.
Right.
Not like like, you know, you pissed me off, but you know, we could sleep it out. We're still gonna cuddle, and then we're gonna wake up and figure this out tomorrow. So
see, I feel like most people nowadays are not effective communicators.
Yeah, most people should go to therapy.
So like, I feel like it comes along. I feel like it comes along with that same sense that we had talked to Savage about a minute ago in dating yourself, being able to communicate and openly express your feelings and being emotionally intelligent. I feel like is such an important quality to have, because nowadays most people, if you do go to bed angry, they're going to sit there. They're not going to go to sleep. They're going to sit there and go over the scenario in their head over and over and over until they get completely upset, and then they start bringing up things from the past, things that have happened before.
I just want you to know it's okay for people to bring up things from the past. I know that's a men thing. Men are like, why are you bringing up stuff from the past? Because let me explain.
Do the voice again.
That voice. That one. But yes, I feel. Go ahead, finish your statement, then I'll respond.
I was just saying, like, I feel like when that happens, it just triggers something, like, especially if you've already gone over that specific topic and you've already made amends with it. Like, it should stay there where it was in the past.
So, so let me tell you, and I was having this conversation when I was out of town last month. And or just talking about how like women process information, and women process information I know you got two boyfriends, Dylan, but we're talking about women here. So when women process information, right? Let's say there was infidelity, right? And let's say the person sent something to you to show that they were, having a relationship, and say in the picture that they sent you of them together, that person had on a yellow shirt, right? So now let's just say now the woman's going to go and process through the information. She's going to forgive you for that. No, she's gonna forgive you. Let's say she had on the other girl had on a yellow shirt, right? So you process it. She decides if she's gonna forgive you, if you're gonna move forward, right? 6 months later, it's a yellow light. She's like, this bitch here. This is how women process information. Now, often, like probably at least 10 times, maybe 30, between the time that she forgave you and the time she saw the yellow light that really triggered her, she's already thought about this and never mentioned it to you. So when it comes up, that yellow light that triggers her, and she's like, this bitch here, and now she has to get it off her chest because now it's trapped. So now I have to say to you, hey, I just want you to know that I'm thinking about this situation, and I just needed to, basically she just needs to get it off her chest because that yellow light triggered her for whatever reason. Men don't process information like that. Men are like, okay, unless the woman was cheating or something, then y'all can't get past it. But anyway, back to what I was saying.
Oh no, we're not skipping that.
No. So
I feel like that's why men should stay faithful.
Exactly. They should.
A lot of problems.
Because we just process information differently. Like, so we're fighting through not even thinking about that, that freaking whore in the yellow shirt for this whole time. It could be 10 years. It does not matter because it does pop up, but we probably are not telling you about that thought as many times as we actually have the thought.
Right.
So when that person comes up and brings it up to you, let's say it was your fault, all you should do in that moment is just say, hey, you know what? I'm sorry that I did that and made you feel that way, but you don't have to worry about that anymore, because it's just a need for reassurance in whatever capacity that might be.
I hear you. Mm-hmm. I do. But here's my take. And I hear you. I'm just going to say, I hear you. I appreciate you. I understand. Mm-hmm. But for one, the reason men can't forgive infidelity as quickly as women can is because men are emotional. I said what I said. Okay. Very much so. So when women cheat, right? Women will cheat emotionally first. Not necessarily. For you to allow a man to enter your body. Oh my gosh, here we go. It's emotional. Here we go with the penis and the vagina. Right. It's emotional. The connection. You don't just sleep with everyone. If that was the case, then it's turning a hoe into a housewife, but that's not the case. So if you are a whore. Who? You. I'm not a whore. If someone marries you, they definitely turned a whore into a housewife. I am not a whore. I am not a whore. No, I've never been. I am not a whore. Listen. Oh my gosh. Go ahead. We're getting off live. Fuck you. So here's the thing, right?
I'm not ruining my chances today.
So here's the thing, right? If a woman cheats, a woman emotionally cheated first and then physically. This is what the man cares about. That's what the man thinks because he's emotional. Women women
the
don't
man
fuck like
assumes that a woman has to be emotionally attached to him like he was to me in order for her to let this guy put his penis in her vagina.
So
But how many times does a woman just want dick?
What are you talking about? Head? What are we talking about?
cheating in general.
Just
so
want dick.
Listen, probably more than you think.
yeah, okay.
Because men incorporate the thought of how a woman reacts to them is how they think that she reacts with everyone, and it's not the truth.
Dylan, how many times have you fucked a girl? We're not going to talk about your other exploits. How many times have you fucked a girl and just did not genuinely care about her in any sense? It was just a workout.
Honestly,
Don't give us a number.
No, just
has it happened?
Yeah, but
I can't remember a time when I didn't actually care about somebody.
Oh,
else fucking.
see, you know what? I love
I'm
that
being
about you.
if I'm being totally honest.
You know what? Dude, you're a winner.
thank you guys for tuning in to Savage Conversation. So
and you know what? And some men are like that for real. Like
but
some
all
men are.
women
I'm
are
an
like
emotional
that.
No, they're
creature.
not.
So you're
That's
telling me you
what
had
I'm-
sex with a man and
I
it didn't
didn't.
mean
I
nothing.
didn't tell you shit. So don't be trying to
We're asking you a
put
question.
words in my mouth.
Okay, let's ask a
She
question.
said it's
Have
okay
you-
to bring up the
same
past,
question I
unless
asked,
it's mine.
I'm going to scoot down so I can see your eyes. Same question I asked Dylan. Okay.
That's so funny.
Have you ever had sex with someone?
Someone. Okay, that's
With
a good
someone?
one.
Because you're married now, and I really like your husband. He's a great fucking guy.
Someone. Mhm.
Have you ever had sex with someone and it meant nothing? It was just a workout.
Yes.
Now, you think you could do it in a relationship?
And while I'm with someone.
Yes.
If
you're with someone else.
I want you to know this. I'm not a cheater.
we know.
One thing, I'm never going to get caught cheating. Now, in the event that I say that I tell my husband like, hey, I'm trying to attract to this person, I just want to smash. It's just there's no emotional. I don't have the capacity to have the emotional connection with that person. Also, although I'm polyamorous and I could probably love another person, but I just like having sex with another. Like maybe if sex at home was trash, but maybe you know what I mean.
How often do you think women are like that though? Like
it's a lot. I'm sorry, Savage, to break this news to you. But
He's sweating.
But the reality is this:
man's sweating.
the reality is that the women that you were with, they love you, and if they did go ahead and cheat, they just wanted the dick. They did not want to cuddle after. Okay, although in your brain you're probably thinking because they wanted to cuddle with you after that they definitely would do that if they're gonna cheat. That's not the case.
I'm not trying to cuddle a cum dumpster. That's nasty.
my thing is, as a man, for me, if a woman steps out, if I catch her talking to another man,
Sounds a little controlling.
I've imagined.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry to interrupt.
I've imagined. I'm talking about talking to another man in the capacity of like secretive, being deceptive.
Okay.
Lying about it. They're both going behind my back. Me catching them up in something that shouldn't have happened.
Okay.
Right. I've already imagined her fucking
Imagined.
him.
That's a good
of
word.
course.
I like how
Because
you use that.
Most women won't be honest and say I cheated.
Oh my god. Why not? Why? What are we comparing this to?
I've never met a woman ever who admitted to cheating, but I've met a lot of women that cheated. I've never met a woman ever that admitted to cheating, but
Because
I've met
first
a
of
lot
all-
of women that cheated. You know why? Because I've been Sancho.
Well, a couple of things here. No, because you were a whore. Remember we talked
No, I
about
wasn't.
this. Okay,
Born again.
but let's.
Sign the contract.
But
We're not airing this.
the issue is that you have an expectation of what you have created in your mind of what it happens when a woman cheats, and that's not often the case. Sometimes it may very well strictly be sexual, and that's it. They don't like the guy. They just like the adventure of whatever this guy is giving them. But that does not mean that, that they are, wanting to have this lavish relationship with this other person. It's not the truth.
You know who I think is a major man about that exact situation is James.
Fuck
James, literally, he's like, listen, if she wants to go and fuck this other dude and he does it better than me, I'm going to ask questions about what he did better than me, and then I'm going to incorporate that into our sex life. I could never, ever do that as a person.
Yeah. Nope.
You know what I mean? I'll read books. I'll watch podcasts. I'll do everything in my power to
never give another man
not a
the
chance.
power to
Not a
tell me
fucking
how
chance.
to pleasure my woman.
Ever.
James is a man's man. I love James. I could not. Yeah, I don't have the mental capacity at this point. I mean, it's possible, but at this point, I don't have the mental capacity to imagine another man, let alone watching another man fuck my girl. He does it better than me, and then me go, man, what'd you do? Like, how'd you make her do this? It's like, jail.
It's like, listen, well, first thing, you got to pack this 13 inches. You're like, okay, well, I'm out. Like, sorry, don't got that.
Didn't come equipped with that tool today. Like, I don't know. I look at it this way. Very territorial, which is why I don't think I can y'all gonna stop coming from me. I don't think I could be polygamous or polyamorous in any sense. I definitely understand the concept of loving multiple. I think anyone has a capacity to love multiple people just because we've been taught that with
your shorty.
Yeah. My daughter, my mom, my friends, whatever. But at the same time, when I'm with someone, like I want that covenant, like husband-wife connection. Like I want that, like I want to be the best friend. I want to be the homie. Like I want to be the business partner. I want to be the sexual confidant. Like I want to play all these parts as a husband. And if I'm failing in one of those, teach me or let me learn, but don't look for it outside. Right. Like I've been a firm believer in that. It's like, if your business is missing something, fix it, but don't find another party to replace it. Right?
Yeah. I think that's 20-year-old behavior. I think I said what I said.
First off, she said it and then looked at her watch.
Check the nails.
I just think that that's, when you get to a certain age or, a stage in your life and you're like, you know what, that stuff is stupid. Like, why did I do that? Like, I can't imagine. I definitely have cheated in the past, probably in my early 20s. Right. But after that, I was like, I'll just tell this person that I am dating this other person, like I'm communicating that effectively. Now in the stage of life I am now, I'm polyamorous just because I have the capacity to love more than one person, but I do not have a desire to have another partner. So it's just not, it's just not my thing. I'm just not interested. Now, in the event that something came up and I wanted to talk about that, then I think that I can have an open conversation with my husband about it. Now, if it involved another person with a penis, he'd probably be like, hell the fuck no.
Like your husband already.
But, I think that you just have to communicate certain things effectively. But I think that a lot of times men create scenarios in their heads that aren't true about women because they couldn't possibly fathom that, a woman could have those thoughts or, or ideals or even moving that way. They just can't.
But is it so much to ask for a person to see you as their person? Like, just like, I don't want anyone else. I don't want, like, this is my, like, that old school 50s, 60s love. Like, this is my person, and I cannot wait to live life with you. And when you die, I'm with you, and I can't wait to, like, I saw an old man, and he was doing an interview, and his wife had passed away a few years before, and they were like, do you ever think you could love again? He's like, what? My love's in heaven. Right, I'm just counting my days until the day I get to see her again. Like I want to love like that. A love that's like, in this life and the next, I want you and you forever. Like God gave me you and I want you. And why is that so much now in modern days to ask for that? Because I get the effective communication, but like, is it too much to ask for a person to see you as just theirs? And just not just in the territorial sense, but like I want a person to see me like how I would see them. Like I could be okay if no one else existed. Like I want just us.
Yeah, and I feel that way about my husband, but I think that you have to get into that space mentally, and two, you have to be 100% in a place where there's no desire. Like, so let's say your job, for instance. I don't know that your job creates an opportunity for your partner to 100% be completely open with the idea that you only want to be with them.
Even as a manager?
Yeah, I think it's not like there's not a downstairs or upstairs, and there's not like there's not temptation. I think that there will always be temptation. There's always going to be something, but you literally work in a space where there's hundreds of opportunity. So the thought from your partner is it wouldn't be uncommon for them to be like, hey, is something going on?
Right.
Because that's literally what you do for a living. Now, although you may not be doing anything, but it kind of it doesn't put you in a space to be like, oh, you're my partner, you're my person, and someone else got your dick flapping in their face. Like, that's not 100%, let me marry you and take you off the market type of person, type of situation.
What do you think?
I was just gonna say, like, I feel like that's why there's all the different categories in dating is the fact, like, you can either have like a polyamorous relationship where you're open to loving more than one person, or you take on and very clearly state that you want a monogamous, faithful relationship, and if your person doesn't accept that you want that, then obviously they're not meant for you. If they can't trust you, then obviously they can't trust you and they're not meant for you. Right. So you find somebody, either that or just continue working on yourself until you're out of that situation to where that's not an issue anymore. You know what I mean? Just it's simple things like that.
Coffee wearing off?
No, it's just fucking sleep schedule.
Yeah. Those late nights, huh?
Yeah, at work. Mm-hmm. Work.
I hear you. I'm hearing you, and listen, because I know you, and because I'm getting to know Dylan here. And you guys seem like pretty respectable guys, right? But
outside of our jobs,
right? You're whores. You're like in the evenings, your presentation is such.
No, I am now a manager. I am a suited,
you wear a
retired hoe.
A suited retired hoe.
Wearing a suit is a call for attention.
Yeah.
I have to wear
and
a
the cowboy hat gives you gives you the extra.
What is the cowboy? How does a cowboy hat add to the hoe?
The cowboy hat definitely gives you.
The name's Drip.
So how does a cowboy hat add to my whore tendencies? How?
Because girls want to ask questions.
Cowboys are whores.
No.
Horse. Get it? That's a cowboy joke. They're horse.
Giggity.
No, I just think that I think that you have to get to the point where you are going to therapy, working on yourself to communicate openly and effectively, and then to not being controlling, and then also, I was just clearing my throat. That's all I was doing, and figuring out how to effectively love the other person, okay. And make it do what it do.
I'm gonna make it do what it do, baby. So here's my thing. I feel like now that we have a second, no. No.
I don't know.
Women don't just sleep with the guy. And not care.
He's been thinking about this whole time.
Not fucking care.
He's ready to unload.
Really, it's not. No, they don't. I feel like he's an anomaly because women don't just look. I've never heard a woman go, "Yeah, we could just fuck." I don't care.
I have girls commenting on here saying that they agree with her.
A fucking course they agree with her
because it's a reality. I'm going to talk to you. I'm going to tell you the truth. The reality is that yes, women could do the same things that you guys do. We just sometimes, most of the time, better, and we can, set you free. But we're gonna make you feel like just like you guys do for a living, right? You did a couple weeks ago for a living, okay? just like you. What you do? I
feel like this is a drive-by with all the shots being fired in my direction.
What you do for a living. Like you create an illusion of, of a connection with someone, giving that good old eye contact, put your hand on their throat, whatever it is that you're going to do, okay, to make them connect with you so they can run the bill up, okay?
And girls do it in a relationship.
Yes.
That's terrible.
And
That's what
the end goal is the fucking okay.
I'm gonna just give up on love.
Right.
I'm gonna just focus
don't
on
give
loving
up on
me.
love.
I love myself.
Don't give up on love.
The agony.
Because it's not that
Oof.
you may very well find the person who genuinely loves who you are.
We're just gonna take a lot of fucking emotional damage on the way.
Aren't we all?
damage.
Emotional damage.
But that's why I say take the time to date yourself. Take the time to know what you like. That person is going to connect with you. Like, I was not expecting to be in a position that I'm going to get married. Absolutely not. I literally canceled my first date with this guy because of his job or the businesses that he owned. And I was like, this is going to be a no for me. And then I said, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and go on a date with him. And I knew on that date, I was like, this dude's trying to get married. And that's what it was.
So, in your from your perspective, how would you differentiate somebody who's being genuine and somebody who is being fake?
Yeah, how are we supposed to figure that out?
I think you can energetically connect with people. Like, if I say I wasn't really feeling either one of y'all, you would feel like she don't really like us like that.
But not if you're playing the game, because you just said that you could easily play that game to get what you want out of a relationship. So how are we supposed to, as men, figure it out when the woman is playing the card that we play at work and when she's actually being genuine? So give us
How do you do it?
Well, if I was good at it, I'd be in a relationship.
But I think you're not in a relationship really for now is because you have to work on yourself. But back to your question is that I think that you energetically know when someone is there for you or not. You know what it is. You know that if you're trying to force it and trying to make it happen, that it's not for you. But sometimes you want it so bad to be what it is that you make it what it is, and it's really
you want
nothing.
Someone to give a shit so bad.
That's being a hopeless romantic.
That's being unrealistic and not aware of yourself.
That's fair. So you would say, I mean, yeah, you could tell, but I don't know. It's just hard to see what success would look like if you haven't had it, right? Like, to me, and I heard this before.
When you get it, you'll know right away.
Everyone says that, but
you will. I'm telling you.
What's crazy is that we should be able to differentiate those specific things because of the fact that we do that regularly.
But we notice lust.
But the thing is, like, speaking on behalf of, like, normal men, like, it is very difficult.
What's a normal man?
Somebody who's not in the sex industry.
Yeah, someone who's not exposed to women every weekend.
See, now we're on the right track.
Right. Somebody who's not, like, used to trying to bait women into, our services for money. You know what I mean? Like, I'm thinking of, how would somebody who's not into the mix of the psychological game keep up with that? Because realistically, even for us, it's hard. That's
what I'm saying. You guys need to get out this industry to find your wife. I'm sorry to break the news to you.
Well, even so I've had a wife that was out of the industry completely. Literally. I was married to this woman. It was the mother of my child. And still, like, it just did not click.
And he was out of the industry when he was married.
Were you in your 20s?
I was 26.
So you think marriage in 20s won't work?
I think that there's a lot of growth. There's like a growth of time. Like you like, I know, Dylan, you're not the same guy you were at that point.
Right.
And I'm sure even with that relationship, even though it may have been heartbreaking or whatever that situation may have been, you learned something about yourself and to her and how you communicated with her, how you guys dealt with each other. There was a learning portion of that, although you may not have wanted to go through it.
The pain
trust
on
me,
the face.
Listen,
learning is the word.
So, but now you know what you don't what you will not tolerate. You know what you will not, do to someone else or say, or what you won't, take someone else saying or doing to you. So you learn, throughout those things, and you grow. And then too, you have a whole kid, so you have a shorty that now you have to communicate with them in a softer way. Like this guy, over here, Savage, he has a beautiful baby girl, and he probably has to communicate with her a lot differently than he had communicated with other people that he may have dated in the past. So
Dylan, how would you say? Oh, the podcast is Hot 702, or it's a radio show, excuse me, but hot7025fm.com. We only have a few more minutes. How would you say it's effective to communicate with your son about what to look for in relationships that's healthy? What would you say?
Like now or later on?
Now.
I don't think he would comprehend anything that I said right now. It's kind of hard to communicate to a 3-year-old what to look for in a relationship. But later on, realistically,
But you don't have to communicate it in words. Like, you can show, your child. Like, I think that that's one thing that, we all remember. We remember the times that things, like, someone made us feel a certain way when we were kids. Right. Or whether it be good or bad, you remember, and, that's how you implement certain things or keep certain, things from happening in your life. So it's just growth. Listen, I recommend therapy for everybody to learn how to communicate more effectively.
I've been in therapy.
To learn how to communicate more effectively, to learn how to, deal with conflict in all types of relationships, and, to learn how to love yourself. Like, definitely spend that time dating yourself.
Right.
And not being a whore while you're trying to date yourself.
Don't know what those are.
So the answer to the question that you asked me, I would say that there is a song. It's a song by George Strait that is completely perfect for that exact what you just asked me. And what I would look for in a relationship is the same as what this song portrays. It's called "A Love Without End." Amen. So he's talking about how a father's love is something that is undying, unwavering, completely unconditional.
Right.
How, no matter what happens, I'm always going to be here. No matter what, I will always love you and treat you exactly as you deserve to be treated. You're my son, and there's nothing you can do wrong. Mm-hmm. Look for somebody who treats you that way.
That's fair. It's just hard. It's hard in modern days.
100%.
And it's hard because maybe that guy didn't have a guy showing him how to love that way, and that's where it becomes a little bit challenging. So
a lot of men do grow up.
Listen, I think that you guys are great guys. I would hook you up with my friends, and that's that's not something that I'm very skeptical, because I'm like, dude, don't mess up my friend, in her life. But I would hook you up with my friends, but I do think that there's always growth and things that you have to learn, and I think that those things are always important. And I think you're always learning. You're not the same every few years. You're a completely different person. So when you figure that out, it'll be helpful.
The message of today, as we end, is to work on yourself, to learn yourself, to love yourself, to date yourself. And in that process, once you find someone that is appropriately handling how you love yourself and doing the same for them, therapy, whatever it may be, then you find your partner. That's what I've gathered from it. Tune in next time, Wednesdays at 2 p.m. We're going to be live on here. Check out the show. Thank you, Dylan Powell and E. Carice, for joining us today. And have a happy holidays, a Merry Christmas, and until then, love yourself.
Merry Christmas.
Tune in now on hot7025fm.com.